It's interesting to take a look at the different stories, the different allegories that are used to teach these basic truths of the internal workings of our consciousness, the rising up and working through the different chakras, the centers of motivation, and also our relationship with each other, the world around us, and the world above us. In this kind of story is the temptation or the assault. And as I talk about in Inner Drives, every good story is about one of three things concerning the chakras. It's either about maintaining your place and perfecting what you're doing, or it's about aspiring to a higher center, or it's about dropping to a lower one and then trying to claw your way back up, or be saved, be rescued. Now, sometimes the fall is due to your own temptation and fall, and sometimes you are brought down by someone else's deviousness. But typically, the characters in the story will represent one type of burden, one type of temptation, one type of barrier to our own inner growth. For instance, the ruffians who slay Hiram Abiff, who is the Ajna center, the higher consciousness, ourselves, are often said to represent the heart center, sometimes even the solar plexus, because there's that greed and me thing in there, and very separatist and jealous. Now, in Masonry, they have the Solomonic myth, where the Temple of Solomon is allegorical for the body that we inhabit, also for the body of the group, or for the body of a people. So you have a temple, and certainly I can see why the temple was used, because it was a major feature in people's lives in that time. And you have the builder of the temple, the architect, Hiram Abiff, who to me symbolizes the Ajna center, which is that center of consciousness which balances and integrates the rest of the form, the rest of the body, the rest of the self, and yet it takes direction from the crown center, from Solomon the king. So you have the architect who is building the temple, and then bad things happen, and some bad guys come in, and there's murder, and there's trying to hide it. Like they always say, it's not the crime, it's the cover-up. It's the really bad thing. Well, that's a big part of the whole Solomonic myth, is, who's actually guilty of having committed this crime, and what does it mean, and how does a resurrection of the slain consciousness come about, and how can we become part of it? Well, this concept of a higher being who is in direct communication with, or often is, a God, who is drawn down, who is martyred, if you will, by common people, is so consistent across every culture.